Hi everyone, welcome back to Stella Rosebella, where I talk about the latest Asian drama, music, and shows. Today, I am going to talk about Xie Wei, a song that Wang Yibo sang, and okay, so if y'all haven't been following what's been going on in the internet, the Legend of Fei, they have been dropping so much content these past few weeks. There were teasers, there were like trailers, there were like all these pictures, and everyone's like, is the drama coming out soon? It seems like it will be coming out soon. So hopefully it will. So this song, I have listened to it a couple of times. I've been seeing in the comments how people say like, oh, this totally shows Xie Yun's character and like his love for Fei and all these things. And for me, because I have never read the novel, I had no idea what this song was about. I knew some words and it didn't really make sense to me. And there's some like characters that were like so new to me. I've never learned it before. And so I decided to read the novel to understand what this song is talking about. After I read it, I cried. I first have to say and make a disclaimer, I am not an expert in Chinese, even though I learned it for years. But it's a learning process and there's so many characters in Chinese, that's one thing. So it'll take me, takes forever to learn characters. Secondly, I just want to tell y'all that, with any language, nothing can directly translate into English. So there would be, these characters have, meanings to it, but it won't directly translate into English, but you would get the gist of what it's talking about. Thirdly, I tried my best to interpret these, and this is from my own interpretation and based on how I feel what this part of the song talks about. And also, I tried my best translating it. I didn't translate the whole song because it repeats itself, the lyrics, that's one thing. Another thing is that there are some parts that I'm not really sure of, so I don't feel comfortable translating it. And then one more thing is that based on the whole thing, you'll get the gist and the feel of what this song is talking about. So that's all I have to say before I tell y'all what this song is about. So anyways, let's get into it and see what this awesome song is about. So Xie Wei, the title of the song, it actually means the sunlight of the sun when it, in the morning, but it's also actually the sword that Xie Yun made for Fei. And also I'm gonna make spoilers in this video, so if you haven't read the novel yet, sorry, but I have to spoil some things in order for us to all understand what this song was about. And so he made this sword for her because he knew that he may not basically be alive when he meets Fei again. And so he felt like this sword could be the one that represents him, to be with her. So that is the sword. I may cry. I may cry. Oh, I'm getting emotional. Okay, so let's get into the first part of the song. So it says 蓝眼热泪. So that actually means the mist sort of makes you teary. And then the second line is 好梦一段不仅睡. He's saying that he dreamt a good dream and he can't help but fall asleep. 楼霜雪寒窗翠. So that is sort of describing the building and like how it's like snowy and like frosty and it's basically cold. So this is sort of describing in a sense where he's at. He is not with a Fei at this point in the story. And yeah, he's just like in this place with his master, who's helping him to cure, hopefully like to help him out to, you know, fight this poison that's in his body. 不恋是非. He says that I don't like love, like the right, the wrong. And 无法清脆. It's like the hair. It's describing the hair, the black hair. It's like, you know, like down. And then 娇容隐飞沉横眉. So it's describing a Fei's eyebrows. So basically, in this part of this section that I took from the lyrics, it's describing 我不恋是非. It's talking about him as a person. He doesn't like to get into like the politics side of things and like anything that's going on in the world. He's not really like, he doesn't really care much about it, and he's just like more like a peace person. And he's just thinking about a Fei and describing her and just like thinking about her. So he goes on to saying 我不染尘灰. It literally means like I'm not contaminated like by dust. That's literally what it means, but it's not what it's actually saying. It's sort of saying like I don't really care about what's going on in the world, this like everything with the politics side and the jianghu, like martial arts world side. And then he goes on to saying to 却为你将云长退. So that is actually the 云长退 is actually the 武术 that he's actually not supposed to use, because the poison in him, if he uses that, it actually sort of like activates it in a sense. But he's like, for you, I used it. And so he goes on to saying 苟度余生. So it's basically saying that he thought his life was just gonna be like this, like he's not thinking about other things, he's just living his life like peacefully, you know. And 原来竟只是以为, he's like, that's what I thought. And then 如今我被爱封缄. So that literally means like I'm now filled with love. So this part is basically saying like he was someone who thought he was gonna go on with his life just like aimlessly and just like sort of like, you know, just like not bothered by everything that's going on and just like not be involved in it. And it wasn't until he met a Fei and he fell in love, and for her he would do anything, including using the cloud palm, which he isn't supposed to use because as I said earlier, it would activate the poison that he has. And then he goes on to saying 只想再多看你几回. So he said, I want to see you a couple more times. 红裙一摆心醉. So the red dress, when it like moves, his heart is drunk. But you know, it's not like he's like literally drunk, but he's like mesmerized by that. 见时你将长刀一挥. So he's like, when I first met you, you waved the sword. And 少年不知后退. He described her like when they met when they were young. He said that she didn't know how to back up, like back out, and like sort of, because she was the type of person that would just go forward and just like, what I'm thinking is how I feel, this is what's gonna go, and this is what I'm gonna do. Basically, she was not scared. So basically in this part, he's describing the state that he's in because of the poison. He has been in a coma, in and out. And the times when he's awake, a Fei is not there. And when she does go visit him, he goes back into a coma. So he really wants to see her. And Hong Chun, so in the story, like she has not worn a red dress before, but this is something that he actually drew a picture of her when he was awake, waiting for her to come back, and he drew a picture of her in a red dress. So yeah, so basically he's just thinking about the past, because he said like he remembers like when they first met, she like waved that big sword and like described like how she was when she was younger. So he goes on to saying 也曾隐墨画一笔幽千岁. And Xie Yun is actually a name he used to be in this like jianghu, because he just didn't want people to know who he was, but he used this name to write books, like short stories and songs, music basically. And so he's pretty famous in a sense in that world. So yeah, and he let her know that like, oh, this is actually me. I wrote this music, and these stories are all written by me. So yeah. And here comes the part where everyone's like, oh my gosh. Okay, so it goes on saying 须命汤有三味. So if you literally translate it, it's saying that this soup has 3 flavors, but that's definitely what it's not talking about. It's saying this medicine that he's taking while Fei goes out and look for the antidote, while waiting for her, his shifu made this like medicine for him, and he's taken like 2 times already, and this 3rd one is the last one. It's sort of like for him to be awake, and hopefully he could wait till she comes back. It goes on to say 若未等至你归. So if I can't wait till you come back, till you return, basically if he can't stay awake till she returns, he goes on to say 求个20年后再爱你也算无悔. And he says that I pray for another 20 years, and so then I can love you again, and there will be no regrets. So, in summary, what is this talking about? What is going on? So, as I told you earlier, the medicine that his shifu gave him, he already took 2 times already, and he's been awakened 2 times already, and every time when a Fei goes to visit him, he's like in a coma, back in a coma. So this medicine, the 3rd time he's taking it is the last one. It's sort of like he wants to be awake till, you know, she returns. And so he goes on to saying that if I'm not awake when you come back, or maybe she couldn't find the antidote, or maybe he's gone, he's like, I really pray for another like 20 years so I can go back and look for you and be in love with you again, and I'll have no regrets. So 20 years, what is this whole thing? So he told her that like, I beg you to find a husband that has a short life, so then 20 years later I can go find you. That's what he told her. So that is basically the song. From this whole song, you sort of get a sense, and if you've read the novel in that too, you get a sense that Xie Yun is actually a type of person who's very like, he's been through a lot, and I'm getting emotional. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Okay, I know he's not a real person, he's just a character in the story, but it's just really, like, when you look at the song and the lyrics, you'll feel really sad for this character, and this song shows how much this character, like Xie Yun, loves Fei. And, you know, he could have been like not caring about what's going on in the world and just like, you know, not help anyone, but he fell in love and he really wanted to help Fei and like do anything for her. And yeah, and it just shows how much he loves her, and like he's waiting for her to come back, and he really hopes that, you know, he could wait and hold on till she returns. It's basically a love letter that Xie Yun wrote, like his current, like how he felt while waiting for her. Even though the song sounds really like gentle and like everything, but when you look at the lyrics and understand what it's talking about, I don't know how you would feel, but I am actually crying and getting emotional because you feel for Xie Yun, and he just been through a lot. And like in the book, when you read the novel, he's like a very chill person and he's very observant. That's one thing, and he's smart as well. But he's sort of like, I don't really want to get into like problems or like situations. I don't want to deal with anything. But because he's been through a lot, that's all I can say. I can tell you, and you can find out why he's been through a lot. And he just looked at a lot of things differently. And when his, while he was waiting for Fei to return, when his shifu gave him like the medicine the third time, his master and everyone were like, you're like totally fine. Like Fei hasn't come back with like the antidote. They're like, you're totally fine. And he's like, you haven't even gotten married yet. You haven't done a lot of things. He's like, and he's sort of like, it is what it is. And he's like being with her and like spending, like going through everything with her. He feels like, he's really happy about it. And he's like, it is what it is. And yeah, so this is what that song is about. I didn't know that I was gonna cry towards the end of this video, but I am really, like, throughout the whole like novel reading it, Xie Yun's actually one of my favorite characters, and Fei too. But Xie Yun's characters, it reminded me a little bit of Wei Wuxian actually, because Wei Wuxian also been through a lot, and he's the type of person like he'll joke around and everything, and Xie Yun's also like that because he likes to joke around, seems like a chill person. He's always like happy and bubbly, when in fact he's been through so much. So I get, in that sense, they're like similar in that sense. So yeah, I hope that helped y'all understand this song and like what kind of story we're gonna look at. I have to say that I tried my best interpreting what this song is about, and I hope y'all enjoyed it. There's probably some stuff that are probably wrong, but I tried my best of my ability actually to interpret the song for y'all, because I know a lot of people wanted to know what this song is about. I also wanted to know, and I just want to say that I'm excited for this drama. Anyways, this is my first time doing this type of content on this channel. I'm planning to do more content like this that's related to like culture and like the words and everything. Obviously you can tell my pronunciation, my tones, it's a little off because I haven't spoken Mandarin in such a long time. So yeah, and I hope y'all like this type of videos. If you do, y'all know what to do. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. But most importantly, also leave a comment because I really want to know what y'all think of this type of content. What do you think of the drama? What do you think of the novel? Which character are you looking forward to see in the drama? And yeah, anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Ooh, ooh, ooh.